So we have in parentheses 5a plus 4 minus in parentheses 5a plus 3. So
yeah, I can take this one.
Guess we're simplifying, right?
Yeah, it looks like we're just, it didn't mention, but typically,
Thanks, Lily.
what you're going to see here is I'm making the assumption that this is going to be a simplification, and the main reason is you don't see any equal signs. There's no equality. There's really nothing to solve for. So what we typically would think about here is just using our order of operations, Pemdas, and kind of walking through and just simplifying and combining our like terms. So the first thing we need to look at is there anything in parentheses that we can simplify? In this case, I don't have any like terms inside the parentheses. I have 5 times a plus 4. These aren't like terms, we can't combine them. So I'm going to leave those alone, but I'm going to look at the next expression in parentheses. 5a plus 3, again, we don't have any like terms in there, so we just have to leave it alone. So parentheses, nothing to do there. Exponents, we see there's no exponents. And actually, I'm just going to kind of walk through this. So since we can't simplify inside the parentheses, I like to just get rid of the parentheses now. Now, this is kind of what I notice trips up a lot of students, this negative here.
That's the spot.
Right. This negative, if you want to think about it as like a -1 times this, it kind of helps. But this negative needs to be distributed to everything inside the parentheses.
Because you're saying minus
Minus everything inside, not just minus 5a, minus everything. So typically what I see as a negative might be applied to the first term, but it's forgotten in the second term. So we need to think about distributing this negative to everything. Right, so we're going to do -1 times 5a, and we're going to get minus 5a, and then a -1 times a positive 3, and then minus 3. So all we do from here is just combine our like terms again, and like this equation, there's not too much going on, but sometimes when these expressions get really big, and if you're starting with this, they're going to get bigger as more of a challenge. It's sometimes helpful to circle your like terms to make sure you're not forgetting anything, and then combining them from there. So 5a minus 5a, that's just 0. If you have 5 of something and you take away 5 of the same thing, then you have nothing. So then we're just left with this positive 4 and -3. And you simply have 4 minus 3, which is 1. So again, I think that kind of the key things here are be careful, especially when you have negatives, parentheses, make sure that you're distributing. And also, don't rush these problems because that's where you see a lot of mistakes, everybody skipping steps. Subscribe!
Come on, push the button.
You know you want to.
do it.